are back with the Pull a Chair podcast brought to you by the Grid Network here right before Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I am your host, Paris. My two co-hosts, Dylan and Tyler. How you guys doing going into this, first Game 3 since 1999, right? In New York?
It's been a long time, and I mean, here we are. I didn't expect the Knicks to be up 2-0 this quickly like they are. I mean, obviously with the Spurs and their late game mental mistakes has cost them dearly, and that's why the series is 2-0 rather than 1-1, or hell, it could have swung 2-0 the other way very much. But
Yeah.
as the title says, the experience has costed the Spurs dearly. So who knows? Maybe they could steal one because if they don't win this game, this series is, I mean, it's about wraps already. I mean, so,
Yeah.
but it'll be icing on the cake at this point.
Yes, Paris since 1999, Game 5, where the Trail Spree was not enough, and San Antonio Spurs won their first ever title. So, man, it's been a while, and you could just feel it all over Twitter, all over. Even if you're not, I'm from Texas, and I feel the vibration from New York. It is just crazy. I'm happy for anybody that lives in New York and that hasn't experienced this in a while because, hey, they're good fans. Let's give it to them. They're good
Yeah.
fans. They deserve this. And yeah, and do they have some pressure tonight? Yes, they have some pressure because they don't want to lose tonight either, even though they're in firm control of the series. They still don't want to lose tonight and teeter within, are the Spurs back in the series? So, hey, I'm ready for it. Let's strap up the bootstraps and let's go, baby.
They're doing the pre-game introductions now for the Knicks. What have for the Knicks, and I guess you can go Spurs, but the Knicks, what has impressed you so far the most with the Knicks in the first two games, and what impressed you or disappointed you so far with the Spurs being down 2-0, losing both games in San Antonio?
I said at the beginning of the series, I said Karl Anthony Towns is going to be the most important player in this series between the Spurs and the Knicks, and boy has he proven me right because not only has he been a very solid scorer on one end, taking it to the rim, not settling for open threes or tough shots. He's trying to get there. He's been a fantastic defender on Wemby. I mean, they have the recipe as far as keeping Wemby out of the paint, getting the boards like they do. And as far as the Spurs go, I mean, like they just need that late game execution. They play these games well. Like these have been close games. These have been games that arguably could have been winnable. I know a lot of Knicks fans were complaining about how calls weren't going their way game two, and again they were probably in the right considering how Spurs players were holding and they weren't getting the calls like maybe they otherwise would have. But yeah, I mean, it's just the biggest problem with the Spurs is can they execute late? Are they gonna keep on making these boneheaded decisions? And that's the thing. I mean, if they could tighten up and play a full 4 quarters consistently, I mean, it's not impossible for them to win this game.
Yep.
Looking back directly to game two, where San Antonio, after being down double digits in the fourth quarter, was in a position to win that game. And they had a good look to do so. But you had Brunson and Anunoby combined for 25 fourth quarter points, and the San Antonio Spurs as a team scored 21 in the fourth quarter. So it comes down to that, and Cat had such a big difference in the first half. But when you have production from Anunoby like that and Brunson in the fourth quarter, it's hard to win. They have it from so many different angles as we
Yeah.
look at the tip off of this game three here.
And what I will say this: so two things I've seen. One, funny enough, Landry Shamet has been really good game one and game two. Funny, it's only 13 points, but he's had a productive 13 points both
Yes.
game one and game two. That's really helped them be able to rest Jalen Brunson even longer. And then specifically game two, Bridges dropping 20 points. Didn't see that one coming. That was a surprise. Like he was hot from the
I mean,
beginning.
what killed me was that at the end of that fourth quarter, it was the Brunson show. When
Yeah,
he was
once
missing
again.
those shots and when we went 1.6 minutes, there was no excuse for the Spurs to not put the pedal to the metal and try to put some distance on them. But they just had trouble. They had trouble executing. And what Brunson did that not many players can do is that despite shooting bricks, if no one else is willing to step up to the plate, he's going to keep on shooting them. And he ended up making some very clutch buckets at the end. And that was a difference maker.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Game
and
that
we
game one shot from Brunson on Stephon Castle fading away. That's gonna that's gonna be a poster. That's what that's gonna be. Oh,
game one masterclass for Jalen Brunson. But again, I'm still looking at game two where, you're that turnover away and Brunson getting fouled, going to the line, hitting the free throws. You're that away from being 1-1 in the series. So as much as we talk about New York dominating the series and it's favoring and because everybody feels it. Everybody thinks right now that New York Knicks have control of this series. But you look at it from a San Antonio perspective, you're that away from being right in it. So and so I expect this to be a good game. The Vegas odds have it basically as a 1.5 point. So we're looking at a good game. Uh,
I
and
mean, if you want to talk about pressure, anyone that's anyone is at this Knicks game. I've seen
yeah.
Larry David. They were just showing Derek Jeter, Robert Kraft. I was seeing like
Eli
literally
Manning.
just about Eli Manning was next to yeah, like literally like anyone that's anyone. Of course, you have the president there too, because he's a lifelong New Yorker. Oh man, what a crazy! Hold on, OG. Oh, Hart.
whoever could just
Yeah.
drop $8,000 on a ticket is here for sure. And I can't even keep up with the amount of celebrities that are in this game. It's good to see Derek Jeter. I haven't seen him in a while. But of
I
course,
haven't
he's
seen
with.
Derek Jeter since he destroyed the Marlins franchise.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
had a lot of
Oh
free time since
wow!
then. He's had a lot of free time since.
Josh Hart
Well,
gets the Knicks on the board after going
get
down 7-0, which would have been a skunk at LA Fitness, but this is the NBA. So here we go.
get into this
I mean,
game. What are you guys wanting to see them, especially from the Spurs? What do you guys need to see? Because obviously the Knicks are up 2-0. Granted, real close games. The Spurs had the first game one in control, and then the Knicks went on a run to win it. Then game two, obviously it was just a close game all throughout and costly turnover, which
ooh,
we
tough
definitely
that
have to
one.
get to. But, we'll
I
definitely get to that turnover. So for the Spurs, what do they have to do at this point?
Spurs got to play like it's already their last game. I mean, I know Josh Hart is not a respectable shooter, but leaving him that open and no one even trying to close him out, like you can't be letting that happen. They're already starting off strong, which is good, but starting out strong means nothing if you're gonna fall apart. So it's like you gotta you just like again you gotta execute and you can't panic. You can't and that's been problems for them throughout the series. So easier said
But
than done, of course. This is as bright as the lights can be, but they have to prove that they deserve to be here.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it comes down to poise because they lost it in that last game, and this is a more experienced Knicks team, and Cat has shown that the alien is human here, and he's shown a formula, and I got to give it to Cat, right? Because it was always the question of whether he could be physically aggressive enough and assert his size and dominance into the game more than just in a finesse style. And he's done that in such a dominant fashion this game to where he's like, okay, he's answered all the questions. Now, he up to this point, he's still got two more games. We've seen teams go up 2-0 and lose before. So it's not over, but Cat to this point has answered the call on whether he could be a physical dominant performer in the playoffs, and he's answered the call.
Cat has been honestly really impressive, and I mean, we were all talking about how it gets definitely going to be against Wimby. Cat has to stay, Cat has to show that he is a top tier center. He's always been kind of like teetering between, an elite center and a really good, and kind of like an all star center and a star center. It was like he's almost there, but you never knew. He's proven so far that he's there. The way he has been attacking Wimby every time he gets the ball, the only thing that has frustrated me is how when he gets the ball in Wimby's on him, he attacks him almost every
Hmm.
time. But the moment he gets someone like De'Aaron Fox on him, he's like, nah, I can't attack De'Aaron Fox. I can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know if that's just a mental block thing, but like, I mean, Cat's definitely the Finals MVP by far. I mean, even with
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson's heroics, I feel like Cat has been fantastic through these first two games, and I mean, this is his moment really, because if he gets the Finals MVP, I mean, I'm putting him in the star center club. Like, he definitely deserves to be in that elite group. You know, he's not going to be at the top by any means, but he deserves to be in that top tier for sure.
yeah. Right now, Jalen Brunson is favored slightly to win the MVP, but Cat is right behind him, and Cat has been such just as an important piece. And, Brunson missed some shots down the stretch. It was the Knicks' defense, and also it's the Knicks' depth, right? Because you could have a game like that from Brunson and still be able to win in the NBA Finals because of the depth, because of Landry Shamet, Miles McBride. You have Jose Alvarado coming off the bench. You have so many different people that could shoot the ball and fill in the gaps of a bad night, and that's what you need in the NBA Finals. And to see them have so many production on so many different levels from 1 through 9 is pretty incredible.
yeah, and obviously, honestly, Jalen Brunson's probably gonna win Finals MVP because he's gonna be the one taking all the big shots at the end of the game. Even though
Mm.
Cat, is gonna be is definitely keeping him. I mean, obviously Jalen Brunson's put up the points. Every stat line he has put up the points. But Cat, is a big piece. But when it comes down to it, final moments, those final minutes of the game, it's Jalen Brunson, and he's the one that
Mm.
takes the ball. He's the one who scores. So if the Knicks win it, it is gonna be Jalen Brunson because of that, really.
I mean, Brunson's the face of the team. Of course, he's the main scorer. They've been relying on him so heavily in so many moments. I just think of back when Andre Iguodala won the Finals MVP for being LeBron stopper. Like, if
Yep.
Cat manages to have one of those big double-double games again, and Wemby has a stinker, I mean, I just feel like Cat should get that Finals MVP. But I mean, again, no doubt, if we're talking about points on the board, being the leader of this team. Jalen Brunson has been that. And, right now we've seen the Spurs starting off fast, starting off with a
And,
10-point lead.
and to Wimby, he's had an okay couple games. Obviously, the last game he dropped, I believe, over 30. But to start off this game too, scoring 7 points in the first half, you can't do that. As being the guy of the team, you can't go a whole half only scoring 7 points. That hurts. Definitely in a game where they lose by 1 point, scoring seven in the first half, it's something that gets overlooked because of how the game ended, and I'll get to what happened. But if he had just an okay first half, they might not be in that situation in the end in the first place.
Yeah, and I think
I,
it just shows that he's seriously, who. Uh, oh, sorry. I was reading Barry's comments about uh, James Dolan screwed the Knicks with inviting who, and we'll focus on basketball because that could be a big distraction, and we have such a beautiful game we're watching. We don't want to focus on something that might not be basketball related, and so it sucks that we do have to. Uh,
I
I'll
mean,
let y'all
look.
speak.
I mean, look. The Knicks fans are
I'll
still
stay
booing him. The
quiet.
vibes are still high. I mean, New York is a notoriously blue state forever. So, like, at least they were like Mitchell Robinson and on the Instagram. But I digress. As far as this game is going, though, we just saw Josh Hart. I mean, now it's a timeout, but we went from a Josh Hart, another open three, and then an
Yeah,
immediate and one the other way with Wemby. This is gonna be a dogfight, and the Spurs have been so heavily reliant on Wemby that it just feels like no matter what, they're gonna need 30 points out of Wemby. They're gonna need a double double. They're gonna need him to hit his 3.5 blocks per game average because I mean, without those critical things, I just don't see how they could build a reliable team, or at least reliable offense. We've seen how many times the Knicks have just fired right back, and this has been the story all playoffs where once Wemby's on the court, the paint is just wide open for them to go and get some easy buckets. And
yeah,
Fox, he's not worth the $60 million. I'm sorry. I mean, he's not built for this team because he's one of those guys that needs the ball in his hands to get in the groove. And he has to take a backseat to Wemby. And even with Castle and Vassell and Dylan Harper, they've all been solid.
But the San Antonio has been in this position before. They were down 3-2.
Sorry, yeah, I got a little bit of technical, but Wemby with the stamina, I mean, I don't think it's been a problem. He's been having 40-minute games. I mean, yeah, they've struggled with him off the, with the off the court minutes because what, you have Luke Cornett out there for minutes, and sure, he had that critical block to end the Thunder's playoff run. That was crucial. But besides that one crucial block, it's been a vapid hole in there. And I don't know if stamina is a problem. It just really just feels like it's a structural issue as far as this team goes. It just feels like when Wemby's not dominant, when he's not getting the ball in his hands, and he's not making everything happen, the Spurs are stagnant.
But
It's
and you know what?
Wimby
Like
has
also,
Wimby does so much for that team that it's
yeah.
just he has a stamina. I think he's proved all playoffs at this point he has stamina because we've never seen him play these minutes before, and
And
he's
there's
done it the entire playoffs. So like I think he has the stamina. I think it really comes down to every player needs a break at some point. Even I mean, you had those series with LeBron and stuff where like he played all the games, but there's a reason people like LeBron, people like Jordan are your goats. Wemby is not there yet, so he needs a break at some point. In
that's so.
the moment he sits down, that's it. That's it for the Spurs.
And there's also a reason they say you have to go through certain things to get to where you have to be on this level. And they say that because it's a mental toughness thing, it's a physical toughness thing. And at that age, as good as Wimby is, even all the work he did in China and the prayer with the monks and all the great stuff that he's doing, it's still you got to respect the game. And he's not at the level yet where he's been through there where he knows what it takes to now. I will say that the Spurs aren't out of this. They're fighting back, and like I said, they were down 3-2 to Thunder, came back and won. So if you in the Spurs' mind, we're crazy for thinking that this series is already done. But I do think you have to go through something, and I think San Antonio is going through it. I think
And
Wemby's
as
going
far
through it. I
as
think San Antonio is going through it.
And as far as stars go, we've seen it with LeBron, we've seen it with Curry, we've seen it with Kobe, Shaq, where all throughout their early careers, they made it to the playoffs, they would go on runs, but they couldn't quite reach the mountaintop. They've all had some kind of heartbreak. I mean, I don't think Kobe lost the final until he lost to the Celtics in that, in that set before his second back-to-back. But even then, he wasn't a winner right away. He needed Shaq to do that. And Wemby is just as dominant being a 22-year-old guy. Shaq needed Kobe too because he lost in the finals with the Magic. LeBron lost his first final. Curry took a decade, almost no, about what 6, maybe 7 years before he won his final. But again, all these young guys, I mean, all these stars, again, critical, crucial pillars of the game, they don't win in their rookie contract,
And
and it
also,
would be a feat if Wemby could do it.
like you heard Wemby say that he might have celebrated from the high of the conference finals. If you're Mamba mentality, if you're LeBron, you don't do that. You don't do
No,
that. And so
no,
he might
no,
not
we're
be there
not doing
yet.
this. We're not pulling
Yes,
this.
yes,
Oh, I
yes. No,
can't
no, no,
celebrate the Western Conference
no, no.
Finals.
He
I had
said
no issue with
he
that.
said he said that that might have an effect on that. If you're thinking I'm going to win the NBA Finals, if your goal is to win the NBA Finals, you don't celebrate as he did to where it affects you into the next series. Tell me,
But
I
the
tell
mean,
me,
way
that
they
was such
won
an
would
it,
Kobe have done
exhausting
that?
series. That was
that
such
was
an
the
exhausting series against the Thunder. That was a big crucial moment, I think,
the way
regardless.
they won it too against the defending champs, and they went down 3-2 to come to win at home and then go into OKC and win it in OKC. I think that celebration was necessary. I don't have an issue with that at all. It was I understood
Well,
it
he,
completely.
he said it affected him into this series, and if your goal is hey, and you know what it takes, if you know what it takes, and he doesn't yet because he hasn't been there yet, and he'll
And
get there.
and we
I
speak
I
so much about
guarantee.
Wimby not having the stamina, knowing what it takes. Nobody on this team knows what it takes. I think that's what it really
Yeah,
comes down to the
I mean,
issue.
we're talking about the
yeah.
Spurs, yeah, and Wemby, yeah. We're talking about this being new territory for him and for the Spurs.
And it's not like Wemby's been struck. I mean, obviously he's not like completely dominant. Like he's not like being the true best guy on the court. But again, we have such high expectations for this guy because of his skill set, because of his height, his mobility, and able to do everything that he can do. I mean, it just feels like it's almost inevitable that, he has to go through his growing pains. And when you don't have true vets that could help bring Wemby and carry this team when he's not firing on all cylinders, like I keep on saying with De'Aaron Fox, he's a steady 20-25 point per game guy when he was on the Kings. He's not doing that this series. The
Did you
only other
guys
real vet on the team is Harrison Barnes, who's not playing.
did you guys see that replay? He looks like he pushed
Oh,
Brunson heads down, and they didn't call it anything. And
well,
Brunson,
Wemby got mugged the other way before, and then before this fast break, and
but
now
I think
it's
San
11 point
Antonio
game.
and I think San Antonio is fine with Josh Hart settling for threes. There's other people on New York that's a
You
better
say
shot for.
that you say that until he goes off and has a 24-point game like he's shown he can do in these playoffs.
Yeah.
He's a streak shooter. He's a streak shooter, but I think that is more to San Antonio's advantage here. But man, I'm not going to dog on Josh Hart because I think he adds so much to the game, both on offensive and defensive side of the floor. That's why you see him play so many minutes, and that's why it's always an issue when he gets into foul trouble because he just does so much. But he's a streaky shooter from three.
I
Oh
mean, he's
yeah, I
not
mean
known for
like
his 3-point shooting at all.
no, he's gonna take the open shots when he can. He's just more the high effort, high motor guy. I mean, the amount of offensive boards I've seen him get just by fighting through people and getting to the spot where the ball is before anyone else is huge. And
Oh,
he's just as good as defender as anyone
fight.
else.
And one person I do want to point out, we've pointed out Dylan Brunson, we've talked about Wemby, and we talked a little bit about Markel Bridges. I want to point out how OG Anunoby has played so far. Because to me, he's the one, he obviously kind of a wild card.
Ooh,
He's good. It's about is he actually going to be there? And he's been there each game, even though it's 17 points each game, which isn't like nothing, but it's not like crazy. It's been like a big 17 points. Those 17 points feels like he's dropping 20 to 25 points per game right now because
Yeah,
it like
so
gets on the
if
holes.
if the Knicks didn't challenge that call when the Spurs had momentum, and they challenged it because OG Anunoby got fouled on that, that was a big turning point in the game. But like I said, him and Brunson combined for 25 fourth quarter points in game two, and that was
Yep.
more than the Spurs had combined. And so that was such a big, and he's big for them all season. And I know the NBA Cup is over with and done with, but he was so big in that run too. So it seems like the brighter lights, OG Ananobi's ready for the smoke. He wants the bright lights, and he wants the big. He wants the. He
Hey,
wants
speaking of
it.
Cat just
smoke,
yeah, Cat
speaking
just
of
went
smoke,
straight out of Cornet, bro. That was insane.
well, yeah, it was so funny because you just see Cornette just trying to go for the balls going to the hoop. Obviously, Josh Hart was there, and even Cornette was like looking at him like, "Why are you mad at me? I wasn't trying to do anything." And Hart was like pushing him, and he had a whole scuffle. But as far as OG Anunoby goes, he is definitely in a perfect spot where he's not nearly the focal point of this team. He is quite literally just a quiet assassin because he is at best reliable on defense because he's just as lengthy as all the other guys on this team, and he makes his open shots. And he can drive, he can get to the rim when if need be, but he does exactly what's expected of him, and he's not leaned on too heavily. Like you're not relying on OG to be that guy down the stretch. Like you need him when he's open in the corner and you need that three. Of course he's gonna be there. He's gonna be clutch, but he does just exactly what he has to do. He's unassuming and he's just there mostly for his defense. Quite frankly, again, this whole team, you got Brunson as the main scorer, and then you got a bunch of 3-and-D guys 2 through 5.
Yeah, you can see that. And then you come off the bench, you got Alvarado, who's known to steal the ball, and then you got Shamit, who's a known shooter, McBride, who's a known shooter,
McBride, sniper.
Hmm.
and then Mitchell Robinson, another
Yeah,
defensive
and
guy,
Mitchell Robinson
defensive
has done a
rebounder.
great job defensively on Victor Wembanyama this series, and they had the hack of Robinson, and he made both free throws to jinx it. Because hey, you know what they asked him? They said, "What do you think about them trying to foul you?" Hey, I see myself as an asset. They want to get me off the floor, so they want to foul me. That's true because every
Yep,
time he's on the floor, he wrecks havoc. Defensively, offensively, you got to give Mitch Robinson his flowers as well.
Mitchell Robinson having to face the Knicks the past 2 years as a Pacers fan. I talk a lot about how annoying Josh Hart was, just because how many rebounds he does, and he's still doing it in this series alone. Even with Wembanyama on the court, what game one he had 15 rebounds? Why was he the leading rebounder in the game on a game where there's a dude with an 8 foot wingspan? Why is Josh Hart the leading rebounder in this on here? But it's the same for Mitchell Robinson, because facing when you're facing the Knicks and their starting center is an all-star type center who can do it all, you get him off the court, and if they bring in their backup center, you're like, okay, we think we can breathe. And yes, offensively a little bit, but man, Mitchell Robinson is better rebounder than Cat is. You miss a shot, Mitchell Robinson's there. He's getting the rebound.
Mm.
He's blocking your shot, and then next thing you know, he'll also get you on an alley oop. So it's like Mitchell Robinson comes off the bench, and he's annoying to have to face to have for a Cat replacement.
And the biggest thing where I say as far as Wemby goes is that he's hamstringed with how important he is on offense because, if he had more reliable shooters around him where he could be down in the post, where he can be in the paint to scoop up rebounds, I'm sure we'd be seeing 15 board games from Wemby. But, again, it's very hard to shoot a three and catch your own rebound. And then they don't really have any other real rebounders on that team. So, what the Knicks are doing best is always having someone that's capable of getting boards, and they get a lot of their own boards. They're getting the
Yeah,
second chance points. We're not seeing that with the Spurs. And then again, mix that with the amazing efficiency that the Knicks have. So I'm seeing here, as far as all of the postseason players, we have 6 guys shooting 40% or better from three for the Knicks. Landry Shamet shooting 56% from three on a little over 4 shot attempts, which is again fantastic because
yeah.
they're so focused on the main scorers that you leave Shaman open. In any other year, you're happy leaving Shaman open, but this specific playoff run, he's been their
You
Kyle
jinxed him.
Korver.
He
He's
just
been that.
missed.
I mean, exactly. I mean, that's usually what you expect from him, though. That's the thing. I'm a little behind right now, so I'm
Oh, I
seeing
am
it.
too.
Like
Trust me.
he
Don't
kind
worry.
of forced that shot. The Aaron Fox contested it, but when he gets those open shots, he's knocking them down. Like he's not, you don't want
Hmm.
to be doing a pick and roll, shooting, going off the 1 foot shot with Landry Shamet. That's not his game. I'm sorry. But again, still fantastic this whole season, whole playoffs, regardless from him.
Yeah, and 17 first quarter points for the Knicks is not like them. They're probably feeling the crowd. They're probably feeling a little bit of everything going into this game three where they've ridden a high. They've ridden a high. I mean, they haven't lost in how long? I mean, come on, y'all, 13
40,
games.
46 days.
So,
46 days
Since
in
the
the
Hawks
last loss.
series.
and do you know
Anything.
you
Here's
have
the
to go
thing.
back? Do you know you have to go back to March to the last time this team lost 4 games? Do you think they're going to lose 4 games?
I will
I
say.
mean, if the Spurs can close, man, the Spurs close is a whole different story. And if the Spurs can get
Oh,
this win, they'll could get some momentum. And look, it's not impossible to go back, like you were saying. And again, let's just say Spurs win tonight. We have a close game four where anything goes. If some way, somehow, the Spurs can scrape back to a 2-2 series to go to game five, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks fell apart. Because I mean they are riding a lot of momentum. They are riding a lot of the mistakes that the Spurs are making. If the Spurs were playing mistake-free, offense, this is a whole different series. So these are the same strengths that the Knicks have, is just being very opportunistic on the other team's mistakes.
One thing
as
I
I
do
said,
love
I think
seeing
this. Uh,
Sorry, Paris. I just wanted to say real quick. One thing I love seeing is a rookie come in to the NBA Finals as a rookie and act like he's been here before. Act like he has no qualms about producing. He's flawless. His game is so beautiful, and
Dylan Harper's a
yeah.
problem.
And I'm talking about Dylan Harper, obviously, but man, he is coming into the NBA Finals as a rookie and showing that he
I mean,
belongs. And
he
it's
was a
very
main
fun to
one.
see.
He was a big piece on why they were able to beat the Thunder in their series. Dylan Harper has been as much as all the $60 million De'Aaron Fox has been making. Dylan Harper has been outperforming De'Aaron Fox almost every game of this playoffs.
Yeah. It's tough. I mean, he's so much money. Like, it's like one of those things. I mean, like they got him as a crucial veteran slash scorer piece for this team, and again, it just feels like he doesn't gel as well. And obviously, Harper, Castle, Wemby, they all feed off each other. And
Hmm.
obviously Wemby's going to be that dude for this team, so he's going to get everything. And, Castle and Harper get it while they can, Champagne with a big three, bang. Make that a 12-point game,
And I think this
like,
will be the third game in a row that San Antonio has had a double-digit lead. So they've
Yeah,
shown that they could get the lead on these, but can they
I don't
close it
think I've
out?
ever I don't think I've ever seen a team that's so good at blowing leads. Yeah, I feel like it's almost bad for
oh,
them to
buddy.
get up this high.
Celtics fan here, I know something about blowing 20-point leads in the third quarter. I know that feeling just as well as anyone.
Listen, I know how it
Um,
feels. What 2 years ago when we faced y'all in the Eastern Conference Finals, we had a 90% chance of winning every single game, and we lost every single game.
I mean, look, everybody goes through those things, and again, the Spurs just need to play a complete game. That fourth quarter is always crucial. You got to close out games, and they really have struggled to close them out. And again, you could start off with a 12-point lead. In the second quarter of game two, they were up by 14. Like these are, I mean, again, a 15-point lead nowadays is like nothing. This is not like the 2000s when you're playing 82 to 78-point games. These are high-scoring games, a lot more possessions and pace being pushed. So 15 points is like nothing. You really don't get comfortable until it is almost a 30-point lead.
That's what Robinson over here making free
As
throws.
Mitchell Robinson,
Oh my god.
dude, that looked like a freaking Vinny Testaverde pass from the '90s.
That was a Ray Allen 3-point shot right there. That line drive,
Unreal.
bro.
Same hype, and everything.
And
I mean, these Knicks
oh
fans are
man,
going
he almost
crazy for
made
these free
that.
throws.
Oh my
How
god.
did how does
Okay.
he have backspin on that thing? Because that's going straight forward. How does he have backspin on that?
No,
I, I,
I do want to get into this because we've kind of avoided it, talking about game one and game two. The end of game two with the Wimbenyama to Stephon Castle off the back. To end the game, Wimbenyama gets the rebound, and it looks like to Wimby, he goes to push the ball off the court. Like he gets the rebound, turns, it looks like he's about to go up the court. It looks like that's exactly what Stephon Castle saw too. It was like, okay, because Stephon was looking at him. Looked like he saw the same thing I felt like I saw that okay, Wemby was about to take the ball up the court. Again, 15 seconds left, he's the best player on the team. And the moment Stephon Castle turned his head, Wembyama just threw it right off his back.
Yeah, and so you had the opportunity. So you got the rebound. The outlet pass is Castle, right? He was looking, and then he looked. He gave Wemby opportunity to pass it. Your coach is coaching you to release up the floor. No way Mitch Johnson wants him to stick around in the backcourt and wait for Wemby to pass in the ball, knowing that Wemby is already a point forward, right? He does it so many times, time after time, brings the ball up the court. So, whether or not it was the right basketball play or not, you're going off what you know your player is, and Castle's looking back at Wemby and saying, "Oh, he doesn't pass me the ball. That means he's going to take it up the floor." Oh, wait, but then he decides to pass me the ball. So this is on Wemby. This is on Wemby. Castle, it's a bad play for both. It's a learning play for both players. But hey, if you're going to take the ball up sometimes and then you don't pass it to him when there's a window to pass it to him, then it's on you, brother.
I mean, it's one of those things where, I mean, again, it comes down to pressure at the end of the game. Again, a routine game, Wemby is probably pushing the ball down the court. And, with the time dwindling down, and and like again, the Spurs were so close. If they just knocked down a clutch bucket in that possession and then forced free throws, I mean, like it would have been just about over, and Spurs could have escaped with that win. But it's like it just reminded me of when Duke lost in the March Madness tournament when all they had to do was advance the ball up the court,
Yeah.
and instead of they were fully expecting to get fouled, and instead they threw a terrible pass, ball gets turned over, a half court shot goes up. over your March Madness run is over. I mean, not exactly one to one, but as far as high pressure situations where the coach should be preparing them for like, hey, this is our 2 minute drill, this is our 1 minute drill when, time is going, we got to get the ball up the court ASAP. What's our go-to play? And I don't know, again, the Spurs are just so used to leaning out Wemby where I don't blame Castle to just fully think like, yeah, Wemby's just gonna go and do his thing, and I just got to get open for a three just in case I'm ready.
The
That's
only
probably
play,
what was going through his mind.
and the only player that didn't lose focus on that play was Jalen Brunson. He was tuned in the whole
Of
time of
course.
what was going on, and he knew. He's like, I see Castle looking this way, so I see Wimby going towards making a pass. Well, hey, I'm going to put my position to catch the ball. He caught it in bounds and enough to where he could get the contact from Wimby. Great play by Brunson. Not a good play by San Antonio.
And these are
Young,
things I feel like,
unexperienced play.
yeah, and I feel like those are things that like you see from a team that not only is just young, it's not one thing that they're just young players. These players have never been to this stage. And now, again, they've shown throughout this playoffs they are a team to beat. They beat the defending champions after going down 3-2. But when you are so young and you don't have barely anybody on that team that has any experience like in these situations, you're gonna run into those issues. An experienced team, a Celtics team, a Warriors team, a Stephen Curry Warriors team, they're not making that mistake. But when you've never been here, those things in the moment, you can practice it all you want, but when you get in the moments of a finals game and it's 15 seconds, things move much faster. They seem to move much faster. I'll say that.
Yes, sir.
And they could have called a timeout. I'm pretty sure they still had a timeout left. And in
Yeah,
that scenario, a lot of
they
times the
did.
coach should call a timeout. You can at least advance the ball up the court because, that's how the rules dictate. At the end of the game, you could just call a timeout and you're at least halfway past the court. And then again, you could draw up a play and get someone open, knock down a shot, and then boom, we'd be talking about this series way differently. But now, like, the second quarter just started. Spurs are looking good for now, but again, this Knicks team, they're more than capable of going on runs. They've shown it time and time
Rejected.
again.
And
Yeah,
San Antonio is doing what's got them to this point, and that's been smothering on the perimeter on defense. And they've done that for a long time. It's just New York goes on these runs where they wear them down. New York's depth seems to wear them down. So we'll see if that happens again here in Game 3. But right now, San Antonio is asserting their aggression again on the perimeter.
The,
they like I said, we talk about them getting off to leads, but they've just done it. They've done it so many times that I don't like seeing them up 36-24. I do not see it as an issue at all. Like they did it almost every game against the Thunder. And yes, they ended up winning that series against the Thunder, but the Thunder won a lot of those games after going down. They've done it to the Knicks, and the Knicks have already came back and know that was the 2-0. It's really about keeping it the
oof.
whole game because definitely with it being in New York, at some point the Knicks are going to go on a 10-0 run. And just like that's a 2-point game.
And
And this team to feel that in New York, that's what I'm waiting to see. Is to
Yeah,
the
see how
fast
they react to that in New York.
because it's been relatively quiet since the first quarter. So we'll see what happens here. We got Jordan Clarkson coming, who hasn't got many minutes this series. He's coming in now to be a spark off the bench. We'll see what we got.
Well, and the fast break is going to be so crucial for the Knicks because we're seeing it so far in this game where Wemby's sitting in the paint. He's denying anyone from getting to the butt to getting to the rack, and the Knicks are forced to shoot threes. And if they could, if the Spurs can force the Knicks to play off, like off tempo and take those bad shots like OG just did, but he just got fouled, so that worked out.
And
But
I
that was a
guess.
that's a
stupid
recipe.
play, stupid, young, unexperienced play by Castle. Like, why do you put any hand on the shooter when you're shooting a 3-point shot? Why would you put
I
any
guess
hand
that's
on
a
him?
foul. I
You
guess.
know they're going to call
He
that.
He had the other hand up too. If he went two hands up, OG would have been bricking that off the friggin' side of the backboard like he did. Like he sold the shot, and even Charles Barkley said it before the game.
Yeah.
Flopping has been in the game forever, even back when he was playing in the '80s. And
hmm
again, that's the most obvious. Like, if you're any kind of anyone that can improvise, like OG, the fact that he was able to improvise that because he was getting contacted on the three, you're taking those free throws.
He was so happy that he bailed him out there because that was an ugly shot, and that wasn't gonna go. That was going back the other way.
That was an
Past few
extremely ugly
possessions,
shot.
ugly shots for the Knicks. Past couple possessions, and again, they're forcing threes because they're afraid of Wemby in the paint.
And we talk about, yeah, they've been back to back ugly shots, and now it's still within a it's now a 9 point game. So it's like, and again, they're doing this. No Jalen Brunson's out there as at all either. So Jalen Brunson's getting a rest. That's a foul. That's a foul. I've ever seen one. But and we just to kind of go back a little bit, we were talking about how Wemby in that ending situation where Wemby had the ball and they could have called a timeout. Too many teams want to play the and trying to get the ball up the court without letting the team get set. That's how it's become now because you've seen this a lot where a team will have the timeout, but instead of calling the timeout, they will just try to advance the ball because they feel like they can get the advantage because the defense hasn't been set up. And for some teams, it works. We got to see that with the Pacers all last year. That was like our specialty. Forget calling a timeout. We're just gonna go up the court and shoot the ball in clutch situations, and it worked. It worked for us all throughout the playoffs. And we've seen it sometimes throughout this season too. So there's other teams that can do it, but like not every team is made to do that. If to just get up the court and do that, and especially a young team like this, timeout probably was the right answer. But again, hindsight is 2020 because if he got up the court and that didn't happen, we wouldn't be saying this right now.
You leave it so much up to chance. And,
It,
it's just so good to take a breath, slow down the game, and draw up a play. 'Cause at least you can plan something out. It's all up for grabs. It was clearly all chaos at the end of that game. Because,
Yeah,
again, all the Spurs were thinking about is moving that ball up the
nasty.
court and, like you said, trying to get a quick bucket. Because a
Mhm.
quick bucket would have been great there, obviously, especially when there's not even a minute left in the game. But I mean, again,
yeah,
hindsight's 2020. You never, it could have easily went the better way for them.
So
yeah.
good.
No, I mean, yeah, that it's Mitch Johnson. One factor is trusting your teammates. The other is disrupting rhythm. And I think in a play like that, you do make a timeout, just because you could draw up a play for Wimby, or you could. I didn't think they had something good off that rebound that showed them, oh, we shouldn't call a timeout here. Let's not slow this down. I didn't think there was something promising that Mitch Johnson saw that was like, oh yeah, let's just roll the dice here. I think that was a better time to call a timeout, honestly.
And as they say, it looks like that's the learning experience they're growing through. That's unfortunately it is, and that's something the Knicks have had years. Granted, they haven't made it to this point yet, but the past 2-3 years, it's been the same core. They've added, they've gotten a new coach, but it's been the same core. So in big moments, they've won big moments and they've lost big moments. So they know how also they know how it feels, they know how to play through no matter what the moment is, what to do in the situation. I mean, honestly, for the Knicks, it seems to be clutch situation. Just get the ball to Jalen Brunson and let him do whatever. But
Hmm.
especially on defense, they know exactly what they need to do in clutch situations. Again, at the end of the game, they didn't even have Cat in. They took Cat out to put Mitchell Robinson on Wembanyama to take that final shot, and it worked beautifully. And again, it
And,
just
Yeah.
comes with knowing the game, knowing your game,
and
knowing your
Mitch,
players.
Mitch Johnson's pitch to the media and pitch to everybody's inexperience doesn't matter to this team. We don't want to hear that. But there's a certain thing that it takes to win the NBA Finals. And I think they're seeing, no matter what they say, that they are experiencing that. Like they are seeing that there is a certain thing that it takes. And it is a mentality that they are showing that they are close to having, but not necessarily having fully. And I'm not talking like the series is over. I'm just saying up to this point that's what we're seeing here.
And just like that, it's a 2 point game. 40 to
Wow.
Yeah,
38
I
in New
just like
York.
that. Big
Unreal.
turnover, fast break. They get the bucket. Oh, left
Just like
OG
that.
With
open. Like he's gonna knock that down. He's not
Eight
afraid.
zero 8-0 run. And funny enough, it also you talk about what Mitch Johnson says. It also goes off of what Wembanyama said because they also asked Wembanyama about the inexperience, and he said us he thinks them being so young is what gives them the advantage because they can do things that people don't expect them to do. But then at the end of the game, when you're
yeah,
in
I
a
saw
clutch
that.
situation, nobody knows what they want to do. It goes against you.
And look, Mitch Johnson, of course, is not going to be like, well, yeah, it's not our year, we're too young. Of course, he's going to say the thing to be like, we're not going to believe in that nonsense. But when you look historically, Bill Walton and those Trailblazers in the 70s was the youngest team in NBA history to win the finals, and they won it. But when you go, and then obviously the Thunder last year, they
Hmm.
were also one of the youngest teams, and they won too. But even then, they still went through the playoffs the previous 2 or 3 years. Like, they kind of by happenstance, just by having the right team, they were still able to go through those pains and still won on their first try. But when you look through the list of all the youngest finals ever, at least finals appearances, you're looking at the 80s and earlier. Nowadays, when the talent level is so much higher, the margins are razor thin. All it takes is just a dumb mistake, a lack of thought, and there's your game. And someone like Jalen Brunson, he's fearless. He is truly fearless in the fourth
Yeah,
quarter. He said, "Give me that ball. I don't care if we lose. I will chuck up 35 shots. We're gonna win or lose by my
specifically in
hands."
the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and
There's
not
going to
many
be a
players can do that.
statue of Jalen Brunson in New York if they win the finals. There's going to be so many. I mean, I just think it's such incredible. Dylan and I talked about his Jalen Brunson like from the Mavs and his path really, and talking about Jay Wright and all his comments on him. It's just in. I just love seeing an underdog story, and I'm not saying he's an underdog, but he's a shorter guy, right?
He was an
And
underdog. He really
He's
was.
an
yeah, so,
underdog.
so
He's
so it's safe
technically
to
an
say he's an
underdog.
underdog. So I like seeing that, and it's because he put the work in. He's a good dude, and he's a connoisseur of the game. Like he's a perfect person to exemplify a sport. The way he leads, the teamwork, and everything else. So
I
And
mean,
that's
LeBron. Sorry, but
hey,
like LeBron and Curry were both guys that people have said are notoriously poor in the clutch, that tend to pass the ball up or don't make those game-winning shots, and they rely on their teammates to do that. Brunson's saying, "Screw all that. I'm doing it all."
yeah,
Brunson
and
is that dude, man. He's got. I mean, his cojones are New York size. I'm assuming.
and as I said, being having to being a Patriots fan facing the Knicks, finally having a year where I don't have to worry about my team facing the Knicks is so refreshing to watch, man. Because golly, I have never been. Funny enough, I was more stressed watching any Pacers Knicks game than I ever was watching any game, even Pacers Thunder game. I don't know for something, and it really has to go with just the runs they go on. I feel like, but it felt like no matter what you did, you knew the Knicks were like a minute away or a moment away from being back in the game and winning the game. So it just always felt just watching the game as a fan. I always felt stressed that something was going to happen, the game was going to turn around. I didn't feel that. I never felt that with any other team as much. With the Thunder, they went on runs. What game 4 when Shaibi showed us why he was MVP that year and he started taking over. It was just like okay, but the Knicks, it just feels like all game. You're like, man, if we do one thing wrong, it'll go from us being in control of this game to us losing this game immediately, just
And
from one mistake.
it's funny you say that because I had a chance to watch them this weekend. I watched some of the replays against Atlanta. They were right on the brink of that series, and they turned it on after that. They haven't lost since that game, and the way they are able to go on these runs is unbelievable. They're never out of game. They come back from 20 to Cleveland in the fourth quarter,
Yeah,
and B, they come back from 12-point runs, 14-point run. They're never out of a game, and they're always in a game. It's just incredible to watch, and it kind of reminds me of the Warriors a little bit. You said the Thunder. The Warriors could go on a 9-0 run just like this, and now the New York are showing that they could kind of do that as well.
and
I mean,
nobody has
where's
the
the
crowd New York
Spurs run?
has.
Sorry, what?
As I said, just no one has the crowd New York has. And that's all.
Mm.
If it's funny enough, facing New York in New York adds so much extra stress.
Every series, this playoff run has been Knicks home, even with their away games. The Spurs, it happened. It happened
Ye-
against the Sixers. It happened against the Hawks. And yeah, I mean, the Knicks in New York in general, they just have one of those rare fan bases that they're everywhere and they're capable of traveling to be able to show up for their teams. Not many fan bases can say that. And especially when you're in Madison Square Garden with this energy, all it takes is a little momentum, and this team feeds off that. They
Would
feed
Yeah.
that
off
have Would
momentum.
that have happened in Boston though? Would
Yes.
they would have
Well, no, no,
traveled
no,
to
no. They, no,
to
no, no, no,
Boston?
no, 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 no. Boston, no. Boston's one of those few cases where Knicks fans wouldn't outnumber. Boston's one of those teams that do travel. It's very again. That's all Boston has is their sports teams, and again, considering their history of being loving their teams, they're always showing up. And they do that. They travel too. They travel pretty well. I've heard my fair share of "Let's go Boston" chants in in those games and away games, stuff like that. Especially when they get ahead and then the home team fans are going away, and you start hearing the Celtics fans cheer. Like they travel too. They are everywhere. Also, Knicks in Boston
Yeah, I heard
and
that in the finals here in Dallas. The Celtics fans they're everywhere.
yeah, and the Lakers too. Lakers, of course. I mean, we're
Yeah,
talking
definitely
about the
Lakers.
pillars of fandom. It's L.A., it's New York, it's Boston. No matter what sport.
And so far, I'm just looking at the stats. We mentioned it. I've mentioned him a little bit earlier. OG Anunoby, the leading scorer for the Knicks at the moment, and I feel like he's been doing this at least to start games. He has been the one to keep them in games. Obviously, Cat does get obviously playing good defense on Wemby, having his moments. But OG Anunoby with a consistent scoring, he seems to be that consistent scorer in the beginning of the games because Jalen Brunson first two games and now third game of this series, he has started off really slow. He started off not doing too much, but by the time it gets to the midway through the third and into the fourth, he turns it on. OG and Anobi seems to be the one that's really keeping it together while Jalen Brunson gets it turned on so
Him
far.
and Cat, and that's what's so fascinating about this Knicks team. If it's not him, it's him. If it's not the other guy, it's him.
Mm.
Somebody at any given night comes and produces for the team, for the city, for the team. Everybody wants it for New York because they know what's riding on the line. It has been so long since the New York has been able to say we are champions. And they are 2 games away from it, and it's just amazing to see. You could feel it. The celebrities are happy. The New York faithful is happy. Shit, the commissioner's happy.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Brunson's the focal point of this Knicks team. The Spurs are gonna do everything in their power to make sure Brunson has an off game. And and when the beauty of this Knicks team is that we've seen these players when it's not Brunson step up. Castle's having that game this game so
Yeah,
far, 16 points, only missed one three so far, and he missed a free throw. So he's having that game at least. But can we see more Fox? He's 1 for 4 right now. Can we see Champagne make threes? He's been
we need
struggling.
Devin Vassell. Vassell has been really
Devin
quiet so far.
Vassell, he's sixth
Brunson's
man of the
only got
year. Oh,
7
that's Coach Johnson.
points. He's having a win beyond the first half. But
That's
hey,
Ooh, tough layup though. What a
that's
tough
what I'm
layup
saying.
he
But
yeah, that was
Brunson's
made.
been like
nice.
that all series so far. He's
And
just
Clarkson
slow.
comes back. Sorry, go ahead, y'all.
Hey,
I'm
I
getting a
was just
little ahead
saying.
of y'all.
No, you're good. I'm watching
Yeah,
it. Clarkson's had a bucket. It's the same. We're talking about Brunson, having slow, but it's just been like that since game one. That first half is not his, but the New York with LG and Anunoby with Cat has done enough to just keep him in the game. So then when Brunson gets turned on, it's like the game just changes immediately.
What a
yeah.
tough finish by Castle there. He's crying for the foul, but that's okay. San
18 points, 7
Antonio,
for 8 shooting so far.
wow, beautiful bucket. But San Antonio going to the break up 5.
Yep, we got 5 minutes left of this. 5 minutes left before halftime. So I know we're getting close to an hour, so we'll probably get off here soon. I know we will have a game. Almost said game 7. We are not there yet. A game, a game 3 reaction at the end to talk. To see what's gonna happen because. I mean, game 1 and game 2 it was close, and so far game 3 has been close. So even if it's the Knicks sweep this series, it seems like all the games would be with a very short game. It's like they've dominated by winning, but it's not dominated the score. They've had to fight every game to win a game, but they just seem to be a better team at pulling out the games at the end.
I mean, that's the beauty of basketball. A 1 point victory counts the same as a 20-point victory. People are going to look at the wins, and that's what matters the most. But then, at the end of the day, a win is a win no matter what.
And it just seems to be the Knicks' time. It seems to be that destiny. It seems to be that all that coming together for the Knicks. We'll see, man.
So to end this, what are you at this point? Again, we have 5 minutes left in the half. We'll go with both teams. Spurs. What are you needing to see from the Spurs? They're up five. Like I said they're up five with 5 minutes left, but they were just up 12 a couple minutes ago, and now it's a single-digit game. So what do you need to see, especially coming out of halftime for the Spurs team?
We
Uh,
need dudes to wake up. We need dudes on the Spurs to wake up more than Castle. Wemby's obviously doing his thing. He's doing everything he can. We need Fox to wake up. We need Vaz to wake up. Champagne. They all combined have 8 shots. And again, they should be open. Someone's got to be open when Wemby's getting suffocated down there and Castle's getting mugged, taking tough finishes for and one. Someone's got to be open for shots. And again, if they can't find the open man and these guys aren't making their shots, then it's over.
for the Spurs, can they limit the turnovers and can they slow down the role players of the Knicks? In the fourth quarter, as I mentioned, OG Anunoby and Brunson totally outscored them. Are they able to slow those guys down in the fourth quarter when it matters most? And do their guys not turn it over when it matters most? That's what I'm watching here in this fourth quarter.
Definitely last 5 minutes. I'm hoping when we can at least go. I want to say he needs to go on a little bit of a run, just because we talked about how game two they lost by 1 point, and Wemby only scored 7 points in that first half. He's only at 9 points right now in this first half. He's 4 for 7 and has 4 rebounds. But again, when these games have been so close, all these points matter. And granted, Brunson has been really slow too. Brunson only has 7 points
Yeah,
at
he's
this
got
moment.
7 points on three of some shooting, but I have no faith Brunson will get there and Wimby. But I think Dylan brought up a good point. Wimby's gonna get his eventually. Can other guys contribute? Castle, you said had 16, right?
Yeah, it's 18 now.
Champagne
Yeah,
and Vassell, those guys need to have double digit as well in order for the Spurs to be able to, you know, numbers with the Knicks. This Knicks team is how many different players for the Knicks are in double digits throughout the game? So many different players. So San Antonio's got to keep up with that somehow.
and
Yeah.
honest, funny enough, it's looking like it's gonna be like it again. Nope's at 12, Hart's at 8, Cat's at 7, Brunson's at 7, Jordan Clark's at 5. It looks like they're gonna have a game with multiple people in double digits. But to go to the
Yeah.
Knicks as a 2 point game, what do you want to see from the Knicks to end this and going into halftime?
Oh man, I mean, look, Josh Hart has made his shots. If this is good, I feel like this could be a Josh Hart game, considering they're not respecting him. I mean, it's just gonna be get the turnovers, get those fast break points. Because if you could beat out Wemby to the other side and get easy points, those are crucial points. As long as they don't force tough threes. I mean, obviously, OG just knocked down a tough three as I'm saying that, but I mean, again, it's
OG
just
only
finding
getting
those easy shots.
ejection.
On
Oh
both
my
ends, OG
god.
getting it done, and that's why OG and these Knicks players they play both ends of the floor. They don't just play one end of the floor; they play both ends of the floor, and they do it for 48 minutes. And that's why this team is so damn hard to beat. And now they're going the other way.
And
Uh,
Penny with the miss.
and,
Hart up the
and
court.
Paris, you asked what we'd like to see these last couple minutes. I'd like to see Jalen Brunson have a
Brunson for
better.
3.
Oh, there he
There it
goes.
is.
So maybe he's coming out because I'd like to see him have a better end of the half because he didn't start it off well. That way he could get going into his bread and butter, which is the second half.
And just like that, there's still 4 minutes left, but the Knicks have taken the lead for the first time this game before
And
the half.
Wimby
Hey,
answers to go up two with the 3 pointer. So now with under
these
4 minutes with the 2 point game.
these last 4 minutes are kind of huge. Again, just with how close these games have been, if they both go on runs, I mean, it works. But if one team can get a little bit of an edge going into halftime, I mean, like it just everything makes a difference right now in this series.
Yeah, you bring up a good point because last game the San Antonio ended on the run. They were down. The Knicks were down to San Antonio, and they ended the half on a huge run to go up 4 points to end a half, and that was huge for them going in the second half. So you bring up a good point, Paris.
So, we have 59 minutes here. The game's got three and a half left. The
Eli
4 point game.
Manning acting like he's been a Knicks fan forever. Come on.
You don't believe it? You don't believe it?
I mean, I'm
Oh
not saying
man.
he's not. I can't say that he's not, but
He's New
we're
York
gonna get a lot of
royalty.
that.
He's New York royalty, so he's gonna show up, especially when it's been a while since a New York champion has been anointed. He was the
Real,
last one. He was the last New York champion, so
real question: is Mikal Bridges gonna score any points this game?
Yes, he'll definitely find a way to produce. He always does.
Does he? He
gotta.
doesn't always. That's a problem. Sometimes he doesn't always find a way.
I mean,
I,
maybe not on the stat sheet, but his presence is felt every game. I assure you that. That's why he leads the league in minutes and plays every single game.
he does have a pretty shot, but I mean, he'll wait. He'll find his spots, and it's not gonna be pretty. But again, when the ball is moving around, Bridges is a low maintenance guy, so it's like he'll get it when he can.
Looks like Jalen. I think they're looking at with 2 minutes,
Papa's
2 minutes
mad.
left. They're looking for a
Papa's mad
flagrant.
again. Papa Brunson is mad again. You messed with his son.
He got knocked out hard. That definitely looked like that hurt.
Oh, that's a
They're
flop too,
replaying
though.
it.
It's a
Damn.
flop and a push.
Hey, Stephon Castle about it really trucked him. He's
No,
like, get
he
out my
He might
way.
embellished
get
it
a
though.
tech. He might. Oh, listen. Well, this same exact thing happened in the Thunder and Spurs game where when was it Shea got friggin' knocked down? It did like literally identical baseline run trying to get a board and just friggin' lowered his shoulder.
And they've
I
been
I mean, yeah,
calling
mean,
these techs consistently, so you can expect a tech here for sure.
yeah, they got to. They have to. Because it wasn't a basketball play. He wasn't by the ball. They did. That has to be a tech.
so you turned into Derrick Henry for a second, man.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So
Is
uh,
any real quick? Anybody knows anybody or any of these players in foul trouble? Because I do know that's been a big thing for the Knicks. Granted, they've been able to get through these games. Cat and Josh Hart has been able to get these games without fouling out, but I do know they do get themselves in foul trouble pretty often.
No
oh
one has more than two
no,
fouls right now,
a
so not
common
yet.
foul. Let them play. I do like how they've been letting them
Fair.
play here, y'all. They've been letting them play here a lot, and I like to
They
see
have.
that. Hey, did y'all hear Richard Jefferson before we go? I do have to ask y'all. Did y'all hear Richard Jefferson say there was too much physicality last
He
game?
did say that. He did say that.
Too
I don't like
much?
that.
I don't listen. No, because there was a moment last game where I felt like I was watching the WWE. They were out there wrestling out there. It was just like okay,
That's not too much.
somewhere there's a foul at some
I
point in
mean,
this.
if they're not calling the fouls, it is what it is. I mean, Jefferson wasn't known for being a physical guy, so like, that's definitely not his game. But I don't know. Just let the boys play, man. I'd much rather the physicality than the ref show calling fouls every
Yeah.
every
I
possession.
think they're doing a better job than they usually do during the season because they were
It
terrible this season.
seems like everybody was right though, because people were saying that with it being a Knicks and Spurs, the refs are gonna have to swallow the whistle. They have done that so far. Funny enough,
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
let it
No,
play
I
out.
mean, at least they're letting the players play. That's what we want to see, right? We don't want the refs to have anything to do with this game.
That is
Yeah.
true, and we saw it a lot when the that Thunder series. People were pissed at that Thunder series.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I mean, again, especially with the Thunder's reputation with fouls, I get it, but I mean, it's nothing new. We've nothing we haven't seen before, and as much, all you can ask for is consistency. If the refs are gonna call the fouls, you gotta call it both ways. If they're not gonna call the fouls, you gotta call it both ways. If they're gonna play this favoritism type of game, then yeah,
Josh
then it's just
Hart,
ridiculous.
Tie game here again. Another
another
over
another
from
Spurs
Castle to
turnover.
Wimby.
Yep.
So Castle and
Turnover
Wimby
to a
again are
shot.
not
Yeah.
on the same page. You could see a frustrated Castle there as they go back the other way and Hart's able to finish with a nice layup. So man, tie game.
Can't let that happen,
The
Spurs. I've been
turnovers,
saying
man.
it. Can't let it happen, and they're letting it happen.
Darren Fox with the shot. Okay, Darren Fox set himself on the board.
And Josh Hart always has one game where he's clutch. This could be the Josh Hart game. If he starts making some open threes late because they're too afraid of everyone else on the court, then yeah, we may be seeing a
Let Josh
3-0.
Hart get a
I
buzzer
mean,
beater shot, man.
he had the game in the conference
Oh boy.
finals. And OG and
Obi,
Ananobi needs to
Shh.
be talked about for MVP too of this series because he's right there
he's
with
been good.
Brunson and Towns for being just as important to the success of this Knicks team.
Funny enough,
Oh
the
yeah.
Knicks already have three people in double digits already.
Mhm. We need to see that from the Spurs. They need three people at least.
Wembanyama gets the foul. So funny enough, to in this first half, everybody started to get. I won't say everybody. Wembanyama and Brunt have started to get on the board. Wembanyama now has 14 points, and Brunson has 12 points. So you're starting to see him heat up a little bit going into halftime.
Yeah, but I mean, again, they have to go on a run themselves. The Knicks can't be the ones constantly going on the runs and forcing those fast break turnovers.
The
Spurs got to do
patience
the same.
there, the patience there for OG Anunoby on that blow by. What great basketball! He
He's been
waited
amazing,
until
man.
he waited on that closeout until he had him on his heels, and then he drove right past him and used his size against him and dunked on him.
As
Man,
a
I love watching OG Anunoby play basketball.
as I saw a post on Instagram, and I don't know if somebody sent it in the group or not. But what it says is that these playoffs is about who's a bitch and who's not, and it was talking about LG and Anobi and Chet because Chet got the
Yeah,
ball and has been terrified of Wimby, and OG's getting the ball with Wimby in his face, and he's going right at him and dunking on him, man.
I
It's
mean, he's
crazy
already
to
got
see if
17.
yeah, it's crazy to see a all-star power forward, Josh Hart for three, Josh Hart another
Man,
one.
I just, if the Knicks close this out in 4 games, I'm just saying, hold on. If the Knicks close this out in 4 games, I don't know if I'm ready for that excitement. Do you know how, like, I don't know what's going to happen inside the stadium, outside the stadium, but somebody from New York, can y'all tell me, like, what's about to happen?
I
Man,
might duck for cover. I actually kind of want to go to New
the
York City
pass,
for Game 4 just to see the chaos. Like I might want to do like boots on
Jalen
the ground.
Brunson.
Like yeah, and yeah, they're disrespectful on the three. Spurs aren't covering the three. Like why? I mean, Wemby was kind of there for that one, but he didn't even jump. And then the Josh Hart three was just wide open. They just forgot to guard him.
The
Like you
same
And
thing
can't be letting
talking
that
happened
of
happen.
last
this,
half. The Knicks just wear other teams down. They play so hard, so physical, so fast for so long, and their shot making is unlike any other. They wear teams down. They did this the last game against San Antonio.
Brunson,
First half, they were
good
down, and then
pass.
they ended the half on a run.
Ooh,
Yeah, I mean they made more than half their shots this quarter for the Knicks. They've been taking nothing but
I'm,
great
I'm
shots.
getting my
They're
dog all
not
fired
forcing
up
anything.
again, y'all. City is all fired up again, ready to go.
So yeah.
put the dog on the court, bruh. It might play better defense.
Spurs, yeah, Spurs may need your dog out there, dude, because their
She's
energy
better
is
than
not
the
quite
Eric
there.
Corgi. She's way better than the Eric Corgi. She's got the Knicks in 4.
We got what, 10 seconds at 9.6 seconds left of the first half. So we'll just go through this until this ends. Cats at the free throw line. Knicks are up 62 to 57 now.
Yeah, I'm about to have to plug my stuff in anyways to get some juice just in case we do a live stream here.
We talked about, whoever, this is a big last 4 minutes because whoever can kind of go on a run with how close these games are makes a difference. And once again, the New York Knicks in the last couple of minutes of a half, this is the biggest lead they've had on this team.
I mean, Spurs need a big breather now, and that's where halftime is. If there was another 3 minutes left in this quarter, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a double-digit lead, if not more, by the Knicks. Because right now they have all the momentum. So this is a critical
Yeah.
time for halftime to happen for the Spurs
Low
to
key,
regroup.
they need a buzzer beater three right here. I'm not gonna lie. Cat make both of his free throws. 9.6. 10-1 run in the last 2 minutes of the game for the Knicks. They got to Wimby. Great defense. Great defense. I mean,
Mm.
that looked like a Kobe shot over the entire team, and Wimby couldn't pass the ball. He just threw it on himself.
Spurs, I mean, they are forcing shots. I mean, they have no, they really, they feel like they have no choice, but the ball movement's just not there for them.
New York outscores San Antonio 42 to 24 in the second quarter. Going into halftime, they're up
Jeez.
64-57. Game 3 of a New York up 2-0 series, and I know we talked about it a little bit. So now to wrap it up, it's looking good for the Knicks and Tyler. See, Tyler thinks the game's over already, man. It's a wrap for the game already. So to wrap it up for the Knicks, They go up seven to end the half. Do you think they're about to win game three?
Yeah, I mean this third quarter is going to be critical because if the Knicks can keep this momentum and push this lead, I don't know if the Spurs have it to come back. They felt like they threw their hardest punch early, and they've been scrambling this whole second quarter. So the Spurs have to come out hard in this third quarter and make like really like not only take the lead, but they need to have a solid lead go into this fourth quarter for me to believe. Because quite frankly, this Knicks team is looking unstoppable right now. They're feeding off the energy in the crowd, and I just don't see how the Spurs can get through this. They're looking lost, plain and simple.
Ananobi with 17. Josh Hart with 13 on 5 for 6 shooting. Brunson's got 15 now, and in the Spurs you got Wembanyama and Castle.
Yeah, I mean, we need more guys to step up on the Spurs if we're gonna get anything. Because if they're gonna go through only those two guys, like Fox tried to put up a quick little shot, towards the end of the second quarter, because he wasn't getting the ball at all, quite frankly. So he felt like he needed to do something, and it ended up being a brick off the side of the rim. And I mean, I don't know how Fox is gonna get into this game because he's not a catch and shoot guy. Like he's not the type of dude to be
He's not.
taking those types of shots. So it's really tough, man. I mean, like it's so hard to. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Spurs hit their ceiling, and it's a sad reality of where they are right now. But again, their ceiling is so high, and they have so much more to go.
It really feels like this is just the next year, man. It does. The East was open this year. The Celtics weren't able to get out of the play. Well, weren't able to get out of the first round. The
Um,
Pistons weren't able to do anything, and the Knicks have just stayed constant the entire season, and now hits the playoffs, and they played by far the best we've ever seen this Knicks team play. Funny
they're
enough,
healthy.
it might be a sweet, yeah, and that's a big thing because that definitely that first year when we beat the Knicks, it was a lot of health issues. The Knicks were
Hmm.
down everybody. Hart was injured. Brunson got injured. Bridges was injured. Bridges was never injured. Cat, I think, had some injuries. Everybody was injured. And right now, yeah, the most we've seen is Brunson take some pains, and he's just playing through it like it's nothing. Every time
I
I
mean,
see him get in pain, comes out better.
yeah, and that team that coach change is crucial because Thibodeau would have run this team into the dirt. It would have been a 6 or maybe 7 man rotation where everybody's got 35 minutes or more playing. And, we wouldn't be seeing the Landry Shamet games. We wouldn't be seeing the Deuce McBride games. We'd probably see Mitchell Robinson and like Jordan Clarkson at most coming off the bench, maybe Jose Alvarado to make an 8 man if Thibodeau is the coach here. So, again, all the credit to Mike Brown to using his team at to maximum efficiency.
So, is there any way you see the Spurs winning this game down seven at this point?
I mean, they watching them that second quarter, they looked lost, man. I'll keep on saying it. If it wasn't Castle and if it wasn't Wemby scoring, no one else is ready. I mean, I'm gonna keep on looking at Fox and at 60 million kind of side eyeing it because it's just because he triples anyone else's salary on this team. So like you would think you would hope at least dollars per point or performance, however you want to measure it, you would hope that Fox somehow finds a groove and shows up because it's either now or never at this point.
And I was the big one saying it was going to be Knicks and six. I fully believe it's going to be Knicks and six, and it's still possible, even if the Spurs lose this game, that it goes six. It's possible the Spurs can pull out game four and win at least one game. Because I do believe if they can find a way to win one game here, they will. They aren't going to lose the third straight game at home. But if they can make it that far, they're not getting past game. As much as I was already confident as this being over in six, they're not getting past game six. But at this point, they might not be able to get back to San Antonio.
And I don't think they will. I feel like you're giving the Spurs too much grace and kind of just hoping that Wemby just shuts the whole game down. And I don't know if they have it in them. I mean, like they really did come out hot. They had a big lead, And then we just see how this Knicks team plays. They're not, they don't care what the score is. They're going to play hard every single possession. They're jumping passing lanes. If you make a careless pass, if you're not finding the right guy, they're bringing it the other way. And I'm not seeing the same thing with the Spurs. I mean, obviously Wemby's got what, 2 blocks this game so far.
Hmm.
Um,
2 blocks
like
and 1 steal.
in one steal. And then, besides him, Carter Bryant has a block. Castle, Keldon, and Cornette all have steals, but they're not disruptible
And I feel
enough.
like a lot of
They're
that was in
they're
the fourth
leaving guys
quarter.
open. Yeah, they came out hard, and then they're leaving guys open. If you're letting Josh Hart knock down threes, and I get it, you don't respect him because of everybody else on that team. He's probably one of the last people you're thinking about. But again, this is one of those games. If you're letting Josh Hart beat you, it's over. It's
Yeah.
done. The series is done. So the Spurs have to come out. They have to again throw another punch and then hold it. They have to keep that lead. They can't. But again, they have to get the lead first. I don't know if they're even going to take a lead. The Knicks might have just took the lead and that could be it. This feels like one of those games that's just it. And then again, going down 0-3, going back to Game 4 at MSG, I don't see this going past 4 at this point. I mean, again, Spurs have to prove me wrong. They have to play this game hard again, make this a close game, and maybe possibly, but again, no one's ever came back from an 0-3 deficit. You only have a 7% chance, according to NBA history, of coming back from an 0-2 deficit. And the way this Knicks team is playing, they're not going to let you come back. They're not going to make dumb decisions. They're very good at reducing the dumb plays and just, play to their strengths.
And if the Spurs weren't able to weren't able to capitalize in a crucial moment at home, a crucial moment in the fourth quarter in New York, that I don't. There's just no way, and there's just
Yeah.
no way are they able to get into that.
Yeah, I mean, again, the only hope of the Spurs coming back this series would be a win tonight. Because then again, that changes the whole mathematics of it. Maybe get some momentum, and then game 4. But again, they showed early that they can get out to a lead, but now can they come back? That's the question. Can they come back?
So maybe since they start off so hot, maybe they took a lead early in the third quarter, but it just seems like it's like they come out all energy, ready with everything, and then after they give everything they got, the Knicks are like, okay, cool. Now we're gonna give everything we got, and it's just like the Spurs are like, ah, yeah, we already gave everything we got. We don't got anything more. We don't got anything left. That was it.
Yeah. The Knicks love their runs. Don't let them get on a run.
Well, that is gonna wrap it up for the Pull the Chair podcast for tonight. Stay tuned on the Grit Network as this game gets closer to the end, around the 3 minute mark. The Grit Network should be holding another live just to react to the end of Game 3. Possibly Knicks going up 3-0. Maybe San Antonio gets to pull out the win and goes up 3-1. So stay tuned for the Grid Network for a live reaction of that. We've done that every game. And then definitely stay tuned for the Chair podcast. We'll be back Monday. Will we still have a series going at that point? I don't. It might be over here. What Wednesday? So
Yeah, we may start talking about the context of how this team looks compared to all-time teams because I mean, as far as playoff dominance, not many teams have only lost 2 games in a whole playoff run. So that's definitely going to be something to talk about.
yeah. So stay tuned for the Grit Network. A lot more shows happening. And for me, it's Paris, my co-host Dylan, and Tyler here on the Pull the Chair podcast. We'll be back next week at 9 o'clock.